The clay figure. From the moment I received artifact 297, I felt the weight of something old and unfathomable pressing down on me. It arrived in an unmarked crate, along with a letter from Professor Ortve, an old colleague whose name I hadn't heard since the accident. He mentioned how he missed working together in the field, how remorse still plagued him. I didn't reply. I couldn't. Every time I thought about that moment, I thought about the cave, that horrendous cave where I had almost lost my life, where I had remained trapped for days in complete darkness, waiting, hoping for rescue, which luckily arrived. I developed a post-traumatic syndrome after that event, couldn't work in the field anymore, reason why I was stuck in these boring desk jobs. I looked at the artifact I had in front of me. It was found at Kirin Burial Mound 7B, deep in the Ural Mountains. A strange, sickly green clay figure, small, humanoid, but grotesque in its proportions. It had no eyes, no mouth, yet its presence felt watchful. My job was simple: examine, document, report. But nothing about this would be simple. My workspace became a shrine to the object. A candle, a compass, a magnifying glass, my pen and notebook, and the codex I used for research. I started with what I knew: place names, geographical terms. But the statue itself revealed more with every inspection. The rear resembled a tale. Hidden inscriptions etched into its clay hinted at languages long forgotten. I discovered they matched Robas runes, ancient Hungarian script. From there, the threads began to unravel. I translated a name, Ordong, a shape-shifting demon from pre-Christian Hungarian lore, later demonized by the church. Myth said it ruled the underworld and helped create the earth. Stranger still, an ancient tablet, the Yugra tablet, recorded a star falling from the sky, from which emerged 7 of Ordong's children. 6 were sealed away by a powerful shaman known as a Toltos. The 7th, Mimush, remained unaccounted for. Mimush, I read, was a fear-devouring entity with no true form. It took on the shape of its victim's deepest terror. No image of it existed, nor a consistent story. Just fear. Deep fear impregnated deep and consumed from within the minds of its victims. Suddenly, things began to change. The figure on my desk leaked. From the eyes, from the mouth. Clay ran down its face like tears. The nail embedded in its back, iron, cold to the touch, had come loose. My compass twitched when held near it. I should have stopped. I should have known. But I removed it. The light shattered. The air grew heavy and wet. I lit the candle, trembling, and saw a trail of dark liquid leading away from the statue, toward a shelf. Something lay there, pulsing, breathing. I took a step closer before my candle went out. I felt panic hit my nerves. I stumbled in darkness, reaching for a wall, a switch, anything. But what met me wasn't my study. It was stone, damp, echoing, moss-covered. It felt like a cave. The same one I'd escaped from years ago after the collapse. The one where I'd nearly died. My worst memory returned in full. No matter where I turned, the exits were sealed. My breath came in gasps. My matchbook held only one spark. I struck it. The flame revealed what I feared most. Stone walls closing in. The feeling of being buried alive. I tried moving the rocks, hitting them, kicking them. My nerves were shot. I began yelling, shouting for help, even though I knew it was useless. I don't know how long I've been here. Time doesn't move right anymore. The matches are gone. The darkness is absolute. I briefly wish I could cling on to hope, like I did when I survived the cave years ago. But this time I know there is no possibility of rescue. I don't even know if this place is real. The doll. We found the ruins on the 5th day, deep in the suffocating heart of the Pétain Basin, where the air sticks to your throat and the trees bend over you like watchful gods. We stumbled upon what we had only dared to imagine, a forgotten city, devoured by vines and silence. Crumbling ziggurats, sunken altars, piles of bones so old they crumbled at a touch, and symbols, hundreds of them, painted in blood-like pigments, carved into stone, etched into wood. This was no Mayan site, no Olmec, no Toltec. This was something else, older, darker. We had read fragments in crumbling colonial texts and whispers from local guides. The lost shamanic tribe of the rainforest, a people feared by all others, not for their numbers, but for the power they were believed to wield. They had no gods. They were the gods. Or so the myths claimed. Black magic, they said. The kind that didn't just curse you, but trapped you. The kind that didn't kill your enemies, but made them wish they were dead. The deeper we went into the site, the heavier the air felt. It wasn't just humidity, it was pressure. Like the weight of the jungle itself was testing us, watching, judging. There were 6 of us, 2 archaeologists, a linguist, 2 grad students, and myself. I won't bother with names. They don't matter anymore, not where we ended up. We had come looking for the dolls. They were mentioned in almost every legend, always with caution, always in fear. Small wooden figures, crude at first glance, but crafted with an obsessive attention to symmetry and detail. Said to house souls, not the dead, the living. According to the law, the shamans had discovered a way to transfer a person's soul into the doll, using blood rituals, chants, and the sacrifice of life. It was said to grant immortality, or something like it. We laughed about it in the early days, joking around the fire at night. But after a week in that place, the laughter died. Sleep came harder. Shadows moved strangely, and something about the ruins, the way they curved, the way the glyphs spiraled inwards like whirlpools. It made your eyes ache if you stared too long. On the 7th day, I found the doll. It was buried beneath a cracked altar, sealed inside a clay womb. The wood was dark, almost black, and strangely warm when I touched it. Its limbs were jointed. Its face was smooth and empty, but it had the presence of something that had been watched for a very long time. I don't know why, but I felt an immediate connection to it, like it had been waiting. I didn't tell the others, not at first. I hid it in my satchel, my hands trembling as I zipped it shut. But they noticed something in me, something I couldn't mask. They started watching, whispering. And then the bag disappeared. I found it later, ripped open under the tarp, the doll neatly laid out beside it, as if it had placed itself there. That's when things unraveled. The group turned on itself quickly. Fear brings out the worst in people, and the jungle amplifies everything. I could see the tension rising. Glances turned to stares, words grew sharper, silence more suffocating. They wanted the doll, or they wanted it gone. Either way, it was mine. I had found it. I deserved it. That night, something shifted. The air turned colder. Or maybe I just stopped sweating. The argument started as a whisper. Accusations, doubts, threats. Someone tried to grab it from me. I struck them. Another pulled a knife. They were screaming, blood. And then I drew the revolver. I don't remember aiming. I don't remember pulling the trigger. Just the noise, the flash, the way they fell, one by one. And then, silence. Only one of them was still breathing. Martinez, the linguist. He was slumped against a wall, his chest heaving in shallow jerks, blood bubbling from his lips. I barely looked at him. I was already turning to the altar, already preparing the ritual. We had found the scriptures days earlier, fragments of the tribe's sacred rites, pieced together through symbols and partially translated glyphs. I had copied them into my notebook. I'd read them over and over at night, drawn to the rhythm of the words, the seduction of their promise. Immortality, no death, a soul beyond time. I followed every step with reverence. The blood had already been spilled. I laid the doll on the altar, drew the glyphs around it, and began the chant. My voice trembled, not from fear, but awe. I could feel something stirring, something listening. And then it hit, like falling off a cliff in slow motion. My mind peeled from my body, consciousness unraveling, stretching thin, then snapping back into place. But the place wasn't me. Everything was dark. I didn't feel the air. I didn't feel my chest rise or fall. I tried to blink, nothing. Tried to move, nothing. But I could see. A narrow field of vision. Fixed, slightly tilted. In that frozen frame I saw my body. It was lying just a few feet away, mouth slightly open, eyes vacant, motionless. And I realized, with growing horror, that I was no longer in that body. I was looking at it, from below. I was the doll. The weight of it crashed into me all at once. I tried to scream, but there was no throat. I tried to move, but had no limbs. I tried to cry, but tears belonged to the living. I was aware, completely, vividly aware, but unable to do anything except be. And in that helpless stillness, I felt them. Other minds, other souls. Faint echoes like screams underwater. The dolls hadn't granted immortality. They had condemned it. These were no gifts from the gods. They were prisons. Each doll a tomb without death. An eternity of silence, of paralysis, of never-ending thinking and thinking. I wanted to die. I couldn't. Then movement. A cough, wet and shallow. It was Martinez. He had crawled toward the altar, dragging himself through blood and mud. One arm limp, the other pulling him inch by inch. He lay beside the doll, beside me, and looked into my blank carved face. His expression was almost pitying. He didn't need to speak. I felt what he meant. We had misunderstood everything. The scriptures didn't promise salvation. They warned of it. The ritual wasn't a gift. It was a punishment. The shamans had trapped the souls of their enemies in these figures, using the blood of their loved ones to fuel the curse. And they made sure their victims remained aware, trapped forever in wooden shells, forced to watch time rot the world around them. I wasn't the first. I wasn't special. Martinez died soon after. His eyes remained open, staring at the thing I had become. And I stayed there, alone, unmoving, unblinking, forever. I don't know how many days have passed since then, or years, or centuries. There is no time inside wood, only thought, and screaming, and silence. Will it ever end?